Welcome back, everyone. Merch Hunter Ricky here, and we are talking about Fabricant 100 chapters 22 and 23, which I'm just going to say it right out of the gate. 100% fantastic, banger, back-to-back banger chapter. Let's jump right in. So Fabricant 100 chapter 22, we are greeted with the brutal visage of visage, whatever, a Fabricant 100 just straight up like holding those Fabricants' corpses. So we're gonna hold off on the Fabri counter for right now because it's really hard to tell if it was like between 4 and 7 or just straight up 4 Fabricants. If we were gonna go and with like a finite number, we would say there's 4, right? But we know that her battle with those lesser Fabricants took place over the course of that entire farm. So, and we only see her holding the final result of the Fabricants she killed. But this then leads into the reveal of the hooded Fabricant 91. And wow, he looks like a K-pop star, but like a very, very strange and dangerous K-pop star. But you know what? Enoshima delivered on this reveal. 91 is just far enough removed to not be technically stronger than Fabricant 21 while still being stronger than Fabricant 21, or sorry, than Fabricant 100. I was thinking of the chapter 21, but you know, he's just far enough off. 91 is far enough off from 100 to be still strong enough in the wheelhouse to be taking on Fabricant 100, which is amazing. I also enjoy that she gets called the former latest model by Fabricant 1 after a power clash between her and Fabricant 91, where they have like the straight up like typical anime fist bump, and instead of both of them going flying back and being like, all right, let's keep going, she gets jettisoned into a wall and she's just kind of like, this is bad. And Fabricant 1 starts to let her know like, hey, you're the former latest model because of my new refinements to the techniques by the doctor, which is a pretty big revelation knowing that he is making new improvements on the old techniques by the doctor. He calls her the former latest model. They continue to brawl, but Fabricant 100 is no match for 91. At one point, 91 shifts up in front of her and just punches her in the gut. It's an amazing looking panel. She then gets kicked in the face mid-air after he launches her, and he launches her into a house. This triggers a memory event in Fabricant 100. She's like, is this the first time I'm feeling pain? Is this the first time I'm feeling like an injury? My nose is broken, my eye is fractured. What's going on here? And then she's like, wait a minute, no, this isn't the first time I feel this. And then she has a memory where she's burning and everything's burning. And all of a sudden, she's remembering the day that she was born into this world as a Fabricant. She was on fire. End of chapter. We go into chapter 23, and we are greeted with the actual face of the doctor that sewed the Fabricants originally. He made the first 100 models. He looks pretty cool. He looks like your standard anime doctor, but he looks pretty cool nonetheless. He is saying, Saya, I'm sorry I couldn't save you, and a woman is on fire in front of him, which is very interesting because that wasn't Fabricant 100, so we think, in the memory burning. But then she wakes up freaking out, wondering if she still has her hand or not, and this is her in the flashback. Then we're showing some Fabricants like, get to the doctor, we gotta help him, everything's on fire. And throughout the chapter of chapter 23, so I'm going to go a little bit out of order here. Throughout the chapter of chapter 23, she is remembering who she was prior to being turned into a Fabricant, I guess. That's just how I interpret it. And she reveals to us at the end of the chapter that the source of the fire, what might have actually killed the doctor, is her. Like, her power is to ignite on flame and to combust. I don't know if she has to have some of her limbs removed, or just like that's what helped her remember it, the trauma of kind of losing a fight. Because what happens is after she gets knocked into the house by Fabricant 91, he does like a quick like hand motion and like cuts the entire ceiling off of the house as well as her fingers. Upon seeing her own blood and all that like nastiness, that's when she gets the final memory like jogging like and that's when she remembers, almost like unlocking her spark in a way. I don't know if Fabricants, and we'll probably get this reveal, if Fabricants get their spark or not the same way that humans do, or if the spark is just, you know, an ability granted to them via becoming a Fabricant. Regardless, it is incredibly cool. I love that she's talking about how her baseline abilities are strength, speed, agility, all that good stuff. After she gets her hand cut off, Fabricant 91 pulls up a gigantic, I mean like a real big, beefy arm and is ready to just level her, take her out completely. But as she remembers her fire powers, she cuts his arm off in a blink of speed, an amazing feat, considering that she has not had a single body part sewn to her yet. So because of this, right, does that either mean that literally every single Fabricant underneath her, like made before her, is just weaker than her outright? If that's the case, I'm kind of cool with it. But what I think it is that, and hear me out, I think that each one of her limbs on top of her fire spark are going to correspond to a different power, meaning that maybe she was sewn together with Fabricants who are already sewn together. I know that sounds kind of complex and dumb, but like if you think of her as being made of just superior body parts, not just human body parts brought back to life by electricity, which I imagine like the first 20 or so Fabricants are just chumpy idiots. Even Fabricant 1 looks like he's undergone some augmentations himself, considering he's still bandaged up from them, right? That's just my guess. But as she remembers her memory of getting lit on fire at birth and knowing that she is the source of the fire, she talks about how she suppressed it mentally because she harmed the doctor, I guess. I'm trying to remember. I just read both chapters back to back, then I went to go eat dinner, so I should have actually just reread it right before, but you know what I mean. What I'm getting at is kind of like Enoshima might write himself into a corner with this one if Fabricant 100 is just kind of like getting a new power and now she's on a higher echelon than she already was before. Will 91 present a threat to her, or will she then, you know, beat him like she has all the other Fabricants? I hope not. I hope that 91 has some of Ashibi's family, the Yao family, in him. If not, I hope he has a way to combat her still after losing his arm like that, because although I liked the fact that he was beating on her, I was a little upset at the end of this chapter, I'm not gonna lie, and not for any particular like petty reason, but just specifically because she like ripped his arm off, like, you know what I mean? I thought it would be a little bit less than that, but it's still cool and it doesn't take away from my enjoyment of both chapters. I just figured like, okay, well, she's only gotten a little bit of a struggle, you know, and she's still talking about how she likes to, or how she's using her, she's basically saying it's worth losing her fingers or her hand if it means protecting Ashibi and herself, which again, you know, you have to question her motive. Is she caring for Ashibi, or is she just wanting his body for the future? And either way, like again, both chapters were fantastic. I think that like when you look at other mangas that are about to stop production, they don't really do chapter fights lasting longer than a chapter. But since we're getting chapter by chapter of this event, I think it might be safe, like Mort safe, I think it might be safe to assume we can expect like at least 30 more chapters before this gets canceled, if it does get canceled. Genuinely, I hope not. The color spread this week was fantastic. I genuinely enjoyed seeing everyone's different hair color and all that. Like Hugo with the green hair. Let's go, Hugo. Luko has like orange hair and green eyes. Minmin has red hair and red eyes. Miss Ayakawa, I don't remember her eye color, but she has purple hair, which I think suits her phenomenally. The leader of the Mort Safe with the, I think, bluish greenish hair. And then the weird reveal of Fabricant 1's hair just being like cute hot pink. It's like evil Kobe from One Piece, but I don't dislike it. I find it strange also that Fabricant 100 is like the only blonde we've seen so far. Maybe all Fabricants are blonde of like certain power capability, or you know, like that's a dumb assumption, but she's blonde and honestly I like it. I find it charming. I love her little hair curls. I think her character design is fantastic. You know, Ashibi, I've always found his character design to be lacking, but he's also a child, so it doesn't really matter. His hair is cool, like the white and black split, and he's a great MC, right? I love him, and I like that he's kind of taking a back seat in these chapters. He's kind of just like having like inner dialogue like, oh man, this is crazy. I've seen Fabricant 100 launch a pebble like a bullet, but what Fabricant 91 did just now, cutting the roof off that house and just letting it fall to the side, was far more advanced. These are good things because, again, I do like the struggle of Fabricant 100 not always being on top, but if she's just going to rise to the occasion every time, I do feel like that might get a little old, so I hope 91 has something up his sleeves, or I hope 1 has a way to cheat. Realistically, in my ideal world, Fabricant 1 would cheat at the next chapter and cause her to not be able to combust or whatever her firepower is now, doing. Although I like it, I don't want to see her lose. I don't want to see her die, and I don't want to see a Shivi get harmed. So I am on her side of this fight. I'm just saying, like, damn, she literally just was like, I can use fire, wham, and like cut his arm off. Like, effortless struggle. It's a struggle, but it's effortless at the same time. Because realistically, maybe she might have to get her fingers sewn. Who will do that? Will a Shivi end up doing it for her? We'll see. But honestly, all in all, fantastic chapter, great color spread. I love this series. If there's ever merch for it, I am going to hunt it down and buy it, as my name states. But for now, I'm Merch Hunter Ricky. I am full of pasta right now, so it is hard to keep my thoughts together. Fantastic chapters. Can't wait for the next one to be released. Let's see where this series keeps going. I hope you all have a great day. Leave a comment down below if you have anything that I missed, or if you just have some ideas you want to bounce off with me. I'll feature them in the next video at the start of the video. And as always, have a good one. I know I said that twice. Pasta brain. Good night, everyone.